I have an unusual hobby. I like to click through the 360-degree Street View feature available on online maps and look for interesting things to add to my collection. I've collected more than 100 URLs of Street View photos that capture really strange or unique moments. Some examples include famous people, fights, UFOs, and flashers. I hope to post my entire collection online someday. But today, I'd like to tell you about the time I got mixed up in a grisly incident because of my little hobby. It was back in September of 2019. I was killing time on Street View as usual. Huh? I spotted something odd while clicking past an old drain ditch in Paju. What on earth is that? It was clearly someone's hand reaching out of a drain pipe. I clicked back and forth along the road to check if it was visible from different angles. And it was. The photo was taken in November of 2018, which was almost a year ago. It wasn't too far from where I lived, so I decided to go and check it out for myself. I drove down to the location of the drain ditch. Nice, and we'll get a nice side shot of our character here. When I got there, I noticed that the area was fairly deserted. This looks like the right place. I'm sure this is where I saw the drain pipe. And this is pretty neat. This looks like a real photo, but our character is drawn onto it. And inside the pipe is a skeleton. Is a skeleton, or perhaps just a skull. It's crazy that scared me. The next thing I knew, the place was swarming with police. And here's the body on a stretcher with the hand sticking out of it. Looks like they're married. I explained the whole story to one of the detectives. Street View? Oh, you mean that thing on online maps that lets you look around the street? Judging by the way her hand is reaching upwards, it looks like she was still alive when the photo was taken in November of 2018. There is also a Street View photo of the same spot taken back in 2017, but there's no hand in that one. I'll have someone contact the website and find out exactly when the photo was taken. She was probably thrashing her arms around inside that dark pipe, trying to get someone to come and rescue her. If you find anything else, please call me right away. We may also ask you to come testify in court. The investigation proceeded quickly, and before long it was all over the news. DNA tests indicated that the victim was a woman in her 30s and had been reported missing in December of 2018. Her husband returned from a 3-month business trip overseas and reported her missing when she was nowhere to be found. According to the neighbors, the couple fought often, so the husband was initially a prime suspect. But since he was on his business trip when the Street View photos were taken, he was soon taken off the list of suspects. If the husband had murdered her before leaving the country in early September, she would have had to survive in the pipe for 2 months to be photographed by the Street View camera. About 2 months later, when the story became old news, I decided to take a look at the drain dish through Street View one more time. Huh? Has the photo been updated? The previous photo had been replaced with a photo that was taken in August of 2019. What the hell? I called the detective as soon as I saw the updated photo. Detective, you need to take a look at the crime scene again in Street View. The photo's been replaced by another one that was taken a month before we found the body. But you can still see the woman's hand in the photo. There's an 11-month gap between when the first and second photos were taken. There's no way anyone can survive stuck in a pipe for 11 months. And we have an image of the detective here. He looks to be a bit distraught. So, what's going on here then? How could she have raised her hand from the drain pipe if she was already dead? I stared at the monitor at a loss for words. Huh? In the previous photo, she was raising her right hand, but this time she's raising her left. What? It seemed like she desperately wanted to tell us something even after her death. And I have a feeling I know what it was. Okay, I'm a little confused. What happened was that her husband murdered her and her ghost was still trapped on the pipe trying to get out. The core has a wedding ring representing that she was murdered by her husband, and the ghost despises him by taking off the ring. Hope this helps. I was accepted into a university in Seoul in the winter of 2014, but I didn't have any time to celebrate all my hard work finally paying off. There were a lot of things I needed to sort out. The biggest problem was finding a place to live in Seoul. My family wasn't well off, so I had a feeling it would be tough to find a decent place. I want to find you a nice apartment. My boy's going to a university in Seoul after all. I told my dad I was happy to move into a small dorm, but he insisted on getting me my own studio apartment. It's right before the start of a new semester, so all the good places are basically already taken. We went to every realtor near my school, but it was hard to find a decent place. Oh, there is one place. It's a semi-basement studio, but it's a really good deal. Plus, it comes with a gas stove, a microwave, a fridge, and a washing machine. Oh, we got a half view of the crib here. Looks pretty nice. People usually prefer a place in a more bustling area. That's why it's so cheap. For a strapping young man like you, it's perfect. The previous tenants left everything here, saying they didn't need them. That's why it's practically fully furnished. Son, take a look at this bathroom. I bet you won't find another studio apartment with a bathroom this nice. The building itself was old, but the bathroom looked new, and I liked everything else about the place. The owner seemed like a nice guy as well. My dad and I were glad we'd found such a great place. We signed the contract and went home. 3 days before the start of the semester, I returned to Seoul to get settled into my new place and get ready for school. Hey there, come on in. I put some new wallpaper and cleaned the place up a bit. All you need to do is unpack and relax. I thanked him and went inside to unpack my things. Once I was done, I lay down to get some rest. I'm really digging the cinematics of this comic. I was not expecting that. Man, I really lucked out with this room. I must have been tired from the long trip up to Seoul. I fell asleep instantly. When I woke up, I wasn't sure how much time had passed. The room didn't get much sunlight, so it was hard to tell what time of day it was without checking the clock. I slept for 4 hours? I need to pee. Huh? Why is it open? a tap of the refrigerator door and being closed, and a click of the bathroom light being turned on. Huh? It looks like I need a new light bulb. I headed out to pick up a light bulb and some dinner. I heard he's rented out the place again. Seriously? It hasn't been that long since the previous tenant bolted, and they were scared senseless. Shouldn't he call in an exorcist? He did. He called a shaman as soon as the last tenant left. We're back in the apartment now. This should be high enough. We're stepping on the box and we're putting the new light bulb in. That should do it. And it will reveal a rather grisly scene, particularly with the floor. What is this? What is it, son? There's blood or something all over the bathroom floor. Blood? What blood? You must have seen some rusty water, that's all. The building's a bit old, so you'll see rusty water from time to time. Anyway, get some rest, and if you need anything else, just call me next time, okay? And the landlord will leave. And the refrigerator is open again. I felt a strange chill in the apartment run through my entire body. Strangely enough, I had no trouble falling asleep in my new place, but I always woke up feeling really thirsty and tired, as if I hadn't had any rest. And on top of that, what really put me on edge was the fact that the refrigerator door was ajar every morning. After just a week of living there, I was starting to feel pretty run down. Sorry, I'm probably scrolling a little bit too fast. Oh no. So we were brushing our teeth with what looked like our toothbrush, but we were actually using our razor. I guess we scraped the inside of our mouth. It's kind of scary to think about. But I'm sure I grabbed my toothbrush. I felt like I was losing my mind. I had a feeling it has something to do with the refrigerator door that was ajar every morning. I decided to try recording it with my laptop camera while I slept. The next morning, the recording showed the fridge door opening by itself at 4 a.m. I'll tape it shut, but no matter what I did, we will see the tape being ripped off the refrigerator. I couldn't stop it from opening. It opened at 4 p.m. again. It opened at 4 a.m. again. The only thing I learned from the recording was that the fridge door opened by itself at 4 a.m. So I decided to see it for myself. I set my alarm for 3:57 a.m. And we'll get a cinematic of our protagonist falling asleep. And our alarm waking us up. It's 3:58. It hasn't opened yet. And now it will open. And a hand will come out of it. person will come out of it. Something that looked like a dismembered human body slowly came crawling towards me. I wanted to run for my life, but I couldn't budge, as if I was paralyzed. "You're not him." That was the last thing I heard it whisper before I passed out. The next day, it looks like we're ringing someone's doorbell. "Hey, how are you?" "The apartment is haunted. Something comes crawling out of the refrigerator every night." "Get out." "What?" "If you can't deal with it, just move out. Just know that you'll have to keep paying rent until I get a new tenant, and you won't get your deposit back till then either." And the landlord will slam the door. Quite a shift. I searched for articles about the neighborhood. There were too many to count. Woman's body found in refrigerator. Suspect under arrest. Man mutilates and murders girlfriend. Accused of murdering girlfriend, stirring her body in refrigerator. Suspect confesses to mutilation and murder. Suspect arrested for mutilation and murder. Body found in refrigerator. My head felt like it was going to split. And now we're calling someone. "Hello? It's me, the student in the semi-basement studio. If you're going to move out, just move out. Stop bothering me. Look, let's forget that you failed to mention a murder took place in this apartment. Just tell me this. Is this fridge the one that they found the body in?" "Come on now, of course not. The refrigerator is the one thing in that apartment that's brand new. So how about just try to stick it out a little longer, I moved out the same day. 2 weeks later, a new tenant moved in, and I got my deposit back. I wonder how cheap it made the rent to have found a new tenant so quickly. I heard he's rented out the place again. Seriously? It hasn't been that long since the previous tenant bolted and they were scared senseless. Shouldn't he call in an exorcist? I wonder if the new tenant knows about what happened in the apartment. He did. He called a shaman as soon as his last tenant left. But the shaman said that tearing down the entire building won't get rid of the ghost like that. Apparently, the only way to get rid of it is to offer someone as a sacrifice. And that's the end. Okay, so that'll conclude the conversation that we heard earlier. This is in black and white to indicate that it is a flashback. So this is actually a pretty neat webtoon.